are just taking in a massive amount of capital and eliminate the bottleneck for moving capital into Bitcoin from the legacy markets. There is no more barrier. And then you have companies like Strategy and now Blockstream that are also moving into the treasury space. And Strategy alone has accumulated 600,000 plus Bitcoin. So, just like doing quick back of the napkin math, it just doesn't seem possible that we are still hovering around, inflation adjusted Bitcoin all time highs from 4 years ago at 100 to 120,000. We should be well over 200,000 just by my approximate estimate.
We see that there are also other catalysts. The first one is the Genius Act regarding stablecoins. A lot of people are particularly bullish on the Genius Act because it has the potential to integrate the stablecoins into the US economy.
What is that? I see stablecoins continuing to grow. This is just the US government becoming more comfortable with the idea of stablecoins and the fact that stablecoins like Tether are just taking up a massive amount of treasury buys and holdings equivalent to countries. I think Tether is ranked somewhere in the top 20 now of all holders of UST bills. The fact is Bitcoin and stablecoins are now integrated into the US economy permanently and in a very deep way. I think what is interesting for Bitcoin is one, the audit of Fort Knox as we've been promised, and two, passing of the Bitcoin Act from Cynthia Lummis that would allow the US to actively accumulate Bitcoin. Now, there's a bit of other interesting news that came out today, which was a reporter filed some freedom of information requests and found that the US Marshals only have about 28,000 Bitcoin now, I believe.
Bitcoin season coming up because we saw the Ethereum price going up and the Bitcoin dominance decreasing. What do you think? Is it an inversion of the trend we have seen in the past months?
It's kind of depressing to see alts run because that usually brings us back down as a whole. So Bitcoin rises and then the people that are investing in altcoins make some money and then they pump their coins, right? So it's always a cycle. Bitcoin goes up, it leads the pack, and then you see alts run a bit. And then things come back down and all the investors in altcoins get liquidated or, you know, they blow up somehow or something happens. And then Bitcoin comes down along with it a little bit and then we go back up. But the cycle rinses and repeats over and over and over.
Fact similar to the ones we saw in previous crashes, like in 2022 with other major players in the industry. Do you see such a risk as a possibility?
It's definitely a concern, especially with altcoin treasury companies. I don't see it ending well for any company that is taking Ethereum or Solana or anything as a reserve asset. I think those will end up very badly in the long run. And I don't know if that will have a cascading impact on Bitcoin. I see if there is a big run up and a drawdown, like similar to previous cycles, that some of the Bitcoin treasury companies, the smaller ones, might fold, especially if their CEOs don't understand what it is.
The world. So, what do you think is the main challenge for the average government to come on board with something like that?
The biggest challenge for most governments and nation state adoption in general is just red tape. It takes a lot of effort to get something done. And not every country has a central leader that can just pass a law. There's a lot of deliberation, discussion, and you see this again in the US, right? Like it's a very chaotic, fragmented procedure to get anything passed. And this is the biggest barrier, I think, to nation state adoption. We've tried a lot at Jan3 to try to follow the top-down approach and engage the governments to educate them and see if they will pass some laws. But we've shifted.
Companies will hold the majority of all available Bitcoin. There will be very little left for ordinary people that perhaps the so-called unbanked people in the third world countries that should benefit the most from this technology to purchase Bitcoin cheap. So don't you think that this process is a little bit going against the democratization of Bitcoin?
Well, you could think that for sure that all the corporations will get all the Bitcoin, or nation states will get all the Bitcoin. Now, is it actually possible that billions of people around the world get physical Bitcoin that they themselves hold and front run the massive financial industrial complex? I'm really not sure because the next billion people into Bitcoin. So I think there are groups like us that are actively trying to get more people on board.
This has been mostly a bull run driven by institutions, um, and very little involvement from retail. But maybe now I'm seeing that Bitcoin is being talked about a lot in the mainstream press. Do you expect now a wave of retail investors suddenly waking up to this new rally?
No, I think this is not yet the rally. I think they'll start waking up at zero point 0.2 million or 200,000 a coin. I would say retail is still sleeping on this. And anecdotally, most people I know have said, their friends and family are not reaching out to them yet to ask about Bitcoin. So we're not even close to peak retail awareness or retail mania. But, once you cross that next when they start piling in.
Last time we talked in November last year, you were predicting that 2025 was going to be the year of $1 million for Bitcoin. Do you still stand by that prediction?
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.